Hello friends, this is Ishi Lynn. We are here in the Healing Hut, and today I want to talk about community healing. It's the traditions of earth-centered healing is to join together and work together in healing, bringing healing to each other. So I'm on the eve of closing up earth-centered healing tradition series, and our last class is about this topic. And I always like to make a little video for YouTube for my students to have for integration, and it also is available publicly too. So we have been learning, and perhaps you've been learning too, how to have relationships with the spirit world, with spiritual allies, with the helping spirits, our power animals, our ancestors, who are so willing to work in harmony and partnership with us. And the more we develop a relationship, and the more we can count on them, and the more the healing becomes really a partnership, a beautiful partnership. And it's palpable, it becomes palpable. In the beginning, there are some, not rules as much as techniques or ways of doing things that help to build that relationship. And it is really helpful. So in the beginning, you may start to question yourself, like, is this happening? What voice is that? But my mind is always talking to me. It's like, yes. So the language of the spirit world, or a tree or an animal, when we can hear them, it comes through often. It comes through the body in different ways. You know, we can feel it, we can sense it, we can hear it as sound in our head, we can just know it. There's many ways. But a lot of people question that voice in their head. And part of this work of being a seer or earth-centered healer, an intuitive healer, is really developing such a deep relationship with yourself and your ego mind, that you know the difference between when spirits are speaking to you, when trees are speaking to you, when your intuition is speaking to you, or when your ego is speaking to you. It starts to become more obvious. Any voice that has this like rattling urgency is, I find, not the voice of support. So there are other entities and beings that are trying to get your attention too, or your ego mind starts pretending to like run the show. So doing journeys, like really simple journeys with your drum, we have these drums that we make a pulse. It's called journeying, and we lay down and we go into our visioning, our journeying, and having some shorter journeys that are just like exercises to go meet different spiritual guides and ancestors, to start to understand how that voice comes through, but then is subtly different, and it becomes not just subtly different, like very different, palpably different. You start to know the differences. In the beginning, we're not used to different frequencies or voices or beings coming through, so we just know that as, oh, that's me. But that's not you, because there's other energies that you're sensing all the time. Earth-centered healing, or what some people call shamanism, is the kind of the practice of getting to know all these subtle realms of energy, of ancestors and helping spirits, and again, the elemental energies, so many different kinds of energies. So we start to become like detectives, who's this? And you start to ask a lot of questions. It's called a vetting your spirit guides. It's very important. A trickster energy can get in there, and you really want to make sure you can tell the difference of a compassionate, supportive, helping spirit, or one that's either malevolent or just a trickster, just not helpful. So what happens when we do community healing is we start to rely on those relationships to help others. So we're not just journeying for ourselves, we often feel the healing light when we're inviting that partnership with spirit, but we're helping the spiritual blessings to be received by other people through us, through the drumming, through sound, through rattling. And these things happen for different reasons. Sometimes we are being asked by the spirits to drum and rattle to just create a vortex for their blessing and healing energy to come in. Other times we're preparing the body to be receptive to it. And then other times it's like a mediumship where those spiritual energies are coming through you, through the drum, through your hands. And that's something called merging or mediumship. And we can pick these apart and start to look at these different ways of doing healing. And often it happens naturally, and you start to just name it and start to understand what's going on. But for a really simple practice of starting out with the healing practices, and just even starting to turn toward somebody else to be moving from doing your own journeys to helping other people with their journeys in healing, just takes practice. But in a class, what we do is, say there's 6 people in a class, 3 people lay down, and then 3 people start to be the givers. And you rotate. So you start to journey, go into the altered state, call on your helping spirits, go into that altered state, and then start to feel the people around you, and you ask their helping spirits and the energies of their body to inform you and your helping spirit. So you're like a tag team, and you go in. And people do this in different ways. The way we have done it traditionally is when we do a group setting like this, is we keep rotating. We don't just work on one person. We kind of a little bit here, a little bit there, and we trust that the session feels whole and connected because we are all journeying together, and we are journeying together and being orchestrated in harmony. So the orchestration of like 3 people working on 3 people is a beautiful thing. And it's a beautiful thing to feel, when you're down there and you're just like, oh, you can feel spirit orchestrating everybody. And it's like perfect, even though one person touched you here, another person touched you here, and the drum's going over here, you start to feel really a cohesion. It's very powerful. So the things we're working on, we're really listening for guidance, but it's helping to receive energy or helping to release, or we call it extract energy, or to, support the blessing energies, the blessing force energies, or bring back specific energies into the body. And there's different ways to do that. Now, in the beginning, I work with my students learning about working with the voice, working with the drum and rattle, and learning to be with their helping spirits and to do a proper journey. Now, when you have been exposed and practicing those few things, then you can start applying them to a group journey. And I always think that it's better to start doing group healing sessions where you're being orchestrated rather than one-on-one, because that just is solely relying on you and your helping spirit, and it's important that you are really practiced then. This is a little easier way to start because everyone's doing a little something, and the person receiving it is receiving a whole beautiful session, but by the hands and of many hands and many spirits. So that works out nicely. So let's see some tips I can give you. I tend to start a session with a tuning with the group. So the people laying down and the people who are going to be the offer, like the healers or the mediums, just with a simple heartbeat to tune together. And just, find a rocking and just everyone looking at each other, connecting, and then closing the eyes, meeting everybody's helping spirits. And we want to do that prayer that may we all, our helping spirits and each human being here, work in harmony together, to be in partnership with our helping spirits and with each other to give the best healing. We know and trust that the best healing will happen today. We trust, thank you, and trust the helping spirits, the benevolent, compassionate helping spirits. Thank you for showing us the way, bringing healing through us to these beautiful beings. And this is how we pray. We say thank you for being here. So I trust that this healing is going to happen, and may I be made use of in a sweet and healing and grounding way. Show me how I can support the best healing here. Thank you for being here. And we do that in cycles of 3 to 9. So we 9 in total. So then I'd probably go into a little bit of a faster one when I start to feel the helping spirits coming. And we're all rocking and drumming and feeling the mind start to shift. Like I can feel my mind. I'm like, whoa, I'm going. I'm merging. So we attune. The next thing, and if you've learned this from another teacher, or if you'd like to learn it from me, I can help you. But I'm going to do a journey to find a gatekeeper. So when you're working on somebody, it's nice to have a spiritual ally right here for you. So we call them gatekeepers because they are like, they're kind of like the bouncer at the door. So when I teach a beginning group healing class, we do a journey to start to meet a gatekeeper. And the gatekeeper is not partnering with you to do the healing. You have other helping spirits that are showing you and partnering with you to do that. The gatekeeper stays right here. I sometimes have 2 that are like on either side of me, but they just help you to be alert if negative energies are coming, or they are like the net. They create a net and support you with staying safe, but they also help you feel and open to the healing energies that you're working with. And you can ask them to have a slow stream at a steady 5. And you just say, I want it to come in slowly. Or you can ask them like, just keep that gate open. I'm feeling good today. But they will help you kind of monitor the gate of how much energy wants to come in or not. You can tell them, only benevolent, kind, compassionate helpers, please. So they're like your bouncer. And, my students have gone through that. So if you're watching this from class, that is another helping spirit that is solely that job only. That's all they do. So having an offering or doing a song or a journey with them, just to thank them, get to know them. And I hope you enjoyed meeting them and working with them last night, or whenever you're watching this, that night. So then we can go in and be rest assured we have our helping spirits, we have our gatekeeper, and we are learning to be guided. Now, one thing that's another tip that I want to make sure we all get, we all know, is that our sacred tools, we want to keep them clean. You can clean them with salt water or the copal or sage. But they have an intelligence to them. Drums, rattles, the plants. So we don't want to just go in and like we're using a tool, like a drill. This is like, oh, the drill knows, just push the drill in, do this. Because these aren't that kind of tool. These tools have a spirit. Often the plants definitely have a wisdom and a spirit. My drum definitely does after all of this all of this time together. The rattle definitely has lots of energy and connection. And the rattle is also where, these tools are where you and your spirit guides and helpers can meet often. So you want to go in and be kind of like a good guest, so to speak. Like, you don't just like barge into people's houses and like, give me that, You want to go in slow as you're approaching somebody and you're taking your tool and you're just, attuning to it. And, I often like let it dangle a little bit until I get the instruction. Now, the person's body is going to also instruct what it needs to get unstuck. You see, the body wants to come back into equilibrium, but it will compensate and overcompensate to do whatever it needs to stay upright and walking. But it doesn't always do it in the best way possible. And it doesn't always keep itself energetically clean. Like, it's just like, ooh, energy, yay, I'll have some of that. So in this kind of healing, we're going in and releasing some of the energy that got stuck, that's not supportive, or it's blocking receptivity. And we also want to help bring in and receive energy, right? So these tools, matched with the body, has an intelligence. And you're just kind of the chaperone. So you can feel that. I remember one of my first teachers of the rattle bath. It was brilliant. But you might come over here and just get really quiet. And then moving over to the neck, quiet. But then when you come down here, you might be like there's something stuck here. So you're like trying to get it out. And then you're just going around to find where the stuck places are. Oh, there's one. And you would have a bowl of water. My bowl of water's over there. Have a bowl of water or a candle or some smoke, some copal burning or sage burning. So then as the energy comes off into the rattle, you can put it in the smoke. Imagine this is smoke. Or you can just go like this into the water bath. Yeah. Or you can kind of walk away. Some people just go and clean it off. So same thing with the drum, same thing with our tools. And that's why we often use plants. We won't often put our hands right on somebody because it can be very absorbing. So when we are using our hands bare, we want to make sure that the energy is pouring out our hands into people, and that's the healing from the spirits. Or be very conscious. We call it sticky hands. And if you have sticky hands, that's hands that can like really pick up energy. So you want to make sure you have like a candle or a smudge or water that you can kind of wash in. If you have sticky hands and you're using your hands only without any shielding, make sure you're really clear if you're sending energy out or if you're like trying to create sticky hands to pull that bad energy out, and make sure you have a receptacle or a neutralizer. A flame is like a neutralizer. A herbal bath is it will catch. You can put it inside as a receptacle. So those are some helpful tips. I hope that was helpful. Make sure you have and meet your gatekeeper. Remember that the tool has an intelligence and is interacting with the energy and the spirit guides. So you're in a team sport when you're using these tools in a healing. And make sure the hands are either, they know what they're doing, if they're receptive or giving energy or pulling energy out, and do the proper hygiene according to what that is. When you get into that altered state, you don't always, that's why you want to build good habits. So you're in that altered state, you're actually just doing that without having to think about it, okay? It's great to have your own wand. If you're using your hands a lot, to just, this can clear your hands. And that's just for your neutralizing, just neutralizing the energy. But you don't use these on somebody then, okay? So neutralizing and passing energy through. If you go easily into mediumship, I do, so energy's moving through you, you want to make sure you have really good boundaries at the end of anything that feels like mediumship. You kind of want to close up the house. You know, when you having a hurricane, you know, it's like, oh, bat down the hatches. It's kind of like that. It's not armoring, but it's closing the windows to the spirit realm and letting them know, like, I'm not available for that anymore, because they love to work with us. And they will like kind of move right through us if we ask them to. So be really mindful that when you're working with helping spirits or energies or entities, you want to have impeccable boundaries. You want to be mucho comunicado. You really want to be able to communicate with them very clearly, really good boundaries. And don't forget, because if they don't have that communication, they'll just, you know, kind of run the show. And sometimes we can be like, ah. So let's talk about that for a moment. If you are having kind of an invasion or an overflow, like just you're feeling overrided by the helping spirits or the energies, or an entity has come in, what would that feel like? Well, a quick onset of a headache, kind of a blurry headache. You might all of a sudden feel exhausted. So it's really good to pay attention. Like, all of a sudden, if you're just like, wow, I can't even like keep my eyes open. These things can be a sign that you picked up some energy from somebody else, or the mediumship kind of got too overwhelming. So what you want to do is first have a really good boundary and clearly state, you know, just in your mind or whispering or way out loud, I am not available for this anymore. Everybody return to where you came from. I'm letting this go. You need to move on. And you just want to have a really clear voice when you speak that. And then there are some things. So, you know, I was in Mesa Verde years ago, and before I was just a little fledgling with all of this. And one of my teachers, I was with them, and I remember getting such a headache. So I have a hard time with certain spiritual sites, because if it's not tended to well, those energies and spirits will come find me, because there's a signature on my energy field that I work with this energy. And that could happen to you too. You gotta be careful of having, when you have a signature, when you work with plants or do this healing work, spiritual beings know that, and they are like, hello, hi. So, yeah, just really good boundaries. And if you do get, you know, pick up some energy, or you're feeling sick, the one that I learned first, and I love it, is lime and honey. And, you know, you're squeezing the lime and the honey, and you're kind of scrubbing it into your head and the spirit gate back here under the arms, just all over. You could also use some salt or sugar in it. I tend to use salt when I'm trying to draw things out, and if I'm doing blessings and want to really receive the blessing of an herbal bath or something, I might use a sugar scrub. So yeah, so doing a salt scrub, doing a lime and honey, these are ways to really just clear energy after, if you've picked something up. After you do your healing part and you're switching, you want to make sure you do a plant brushing or a shakedown or drum bath or something to neutralize and make the shift to then being the receiver. and making sure that you do something. So if you, I know my students, we do that journey where you get 3 integrators, and you would use this is a really good time to use this for after you're doing a healing. Do your 3 integration modalities, and then lay down to shift roles. Okay, let's see what else. When you're in the receiving role, it's good to have a very clear intention. We've talked about that a lot, but really good to have one or 2 intentions. I want to release this so I can receive this, or something like that. Or I want healing with having a quieter mind, or I want to be more patient, or and when we have that, then the spirits can do all kinds of things and work on us in different ways, and it's not logical. They know why we're not patient, and they work on that part of us, and we might not know. So the not knowing is part of it. If you don't feel like you're getting a clear message for everything, that's okay. You don't have to in this kind of work. You just get to receive and enjoy the opening, enjoy the experience. And I always feel like it's a great idea to journal, especially in the beginning, because you're learning so much from the spirits about how to do things, and you learn things from other people in the room or in the class, or you hear something that I've said 20 times and all of a sudden it's like it clicks. So I love to have a journal, and I doodle, I color it, and sometimes there's words, and I just let myself have a doodle pad for these things, and it's wonderful to go back and see them. So I'm thinking that that's a good place to end. Actually, we're going to say one more thing about our helping spirits. I want you to always remember that we're always in partnership. So like in any good partnership, you wouldn't just run out the door. You want to say, okay, we're complete, thank you, go in peace, have a great night, or give them an offering. Here's some milk, here's different spirits, guides like different things. Say goodbye to your gatekeeper, say goodbye to your helping spirits. Let them know when you're going to meet them again. I'll see you tomorrow, at 11, we'll have daily prayers or something. So make sure that you have that closure with them. That's just a courtesy, So that's just super fun, and I hope these tips are helpful. If you need any other support with earth-centered healing, let me know, and make sure you always have your plants with you. This is lemon balm. We have that in the room most of the time in the spring and summer. But have your plants with you because they are allies, and a drum, a rattle, a journal, offering plate, and some of your healing smoke from your plants, your incenses. Those are the basic tools. And we'll get more into technique on how to listen to someone's body in the class. But these are the tips that can help you on your way. Thanks for listening. This is Ishia. You can find me at ishialin.com, IXEEYALIN .com or at gmail.com if you want to say hi. All right, beautiful beings, bless you. And bless the helping spirits. Thank you for being here with us tonight. That was really fun. Okay, we'll see you soon.